maybe this is the least useful part of this conversation, but we have to identify who failed us if we're gonna have any hope of fixing this situation in the course of the rest of our lives. And it's gonna be difficult, it's gonna be a lifelong fight because taking over the Supreme Court takes so long. But we have been failed by so many people. Anna, you rightfully pointed out so many of them. Joe Biden did nothing, even after the draft came out, did basically nothing. Obama and the Democrats did nothing. They didn't, and I'm not even saying just in codifying law, Roe into law. They obviously didn't prioritize the Supreme Court in the years that they had. As many people have pointed out, 6 conservative justices voted to strip you of your rights. 5 of them were put into office by Republican presidents who lost the popular vote. And when the Democrats won the popular vote, they just sort of allowed, like Merrick Garland, hey, maybe we get him on the court, maybe we don't. What are you gonna do? We have to respect the norms and everything because the Republicans surely would, up until they get a chance to put a Christian zealot on the court in the form of Amy Coney Barrett, which they did a couple of weeks before the election. And so we've been failed by so many people. In 2016, we were failed by the people who told you not even to think about the Supreme Court. Don't worry about it. It's totally cool to have a little bit of fascism for a few years. There's no long-term consequences or anything. We have been failed by so many different people. And everyone wants to point the finger at like one person or one group or one election and say that's why. And conveniently, blaming that person always elevates them into a position of superiority, but there is a lot of blame to go around, and we are not gonna fix this until we understand all of the different groups and people that failed us so that we can get them out of positions of power and influence.
Yeah, I think the important takeaway is the right wing in America tells us who they are every day. They don't hide it. They don't hide anything. They don't hide their strategy. They don't hide what their agenda is. They don't hide how vicious they are. And they carry it all out, and they do it breathlessly without any real significant and substantive pushback from the party that's supposed to serve as the opposition. The party that loves to campaign on these social issues as if they genuinely care about it, as if they're gonna protect various groups of people, whether it be Black individuals who have been persecuted by cops in this country. They love to campaign on police reform, but they won't do it. They'll give it up. They love to talk about the importance of protecting our democracy, but they won't fight for a voting rights bill. Yeah. All these convenient excuses, always all these convenient excuses. And then once they start ramping up for re-election again, well, the reason why we failed is because there aren't enough of these failures in Congress to fail along with us. Okay, if Democrats think they're going to save themselves in the midterms by fundraising and campaigning on this issue, they are sadly mistaken. Like, I know it sounds conspiratorial, but the messaging I heard from Biden in that speech today was, this is our campaign strategy leading up to the midterms.
Well, look, I might.
They think that this is like a gift handed to them because of how terrible his approval ratings are, because of how little they've done, because of how enraged people are over things that, for the most part, Biden doesn't have control over, things like inflation. But at the end of the day, people are gonna be looking out for their pocketbooks before they look out for reproductive rights in this country, unfortunately. So I don't know how this is gonna play out, but it doesn't look good for Democrats, and quite frankly, they deserve it.
I don't know that I necessarily agree in terms of how it'll affect the midterms. I do know that it doesn't matter in terms of this issue, whether the Democrats win or lose. Like, okay, sure, if they win, it maybe stops the Republicans from getting in a position where they can pass, bills that Biden would have to veto. But it doesn't mean that if you keep them in power, they will reverse this in any substantive way. And so they will use it for their political interest. They will definitely use it to raise money at the very least, but that is not a solution to this problem. That's the big issue, I think. Now, I want to turn to, now that Roe v. Wade has been killed, what happens from here? Well, we have immediate things to talk about, and then we have longer term things to talk about. And apologies to the director, I'm gonna jump around just a little bit for time, but I want to jump ahead to graphic 9. Many of you watching this live in states where it's already illegal. It's already illegal because in like this one area, they have crafted legislation, the Republicans, to make it so that when the conservative supermajority in the Supreme Court did what they were going to do, these trigger laws would activate. And so in the yellow states there, it's already banned. It's banned, it's gone. Some of the details might differ from state to state, but you went to sleep with rights, you woke up, they're gone. It's now illegal. You do not have control of your body. Your womb is the property of the state. They will regulate it. They will regulate nothing else under the Republicans. No businesses or anything. Those are holy. They're not going to regulate your guns. You have a fundamental right to that. But your womb, that is now the property of whoever happens to be in charge. Your rights are now up to whoever has the majority in the Supreme Court. Now, there are areas where your right to an abortion has been codified. You can see those blue states on that chart. We happen to live in one. We're lucky enough to have that. But there's also a huge number of states where we don't know. We're uncertain about what's going to happen. A lot of those states have Republican legislatures. So the number of yellow states on that map, those will go up in the near future. You could expect that. And if you take a look at this next chart, you can see that 25.5 million women of reproductive age live in states where it is either already totally banned or effectively outlawed. In fact, it's almost the exact number of women or people who can get pregnant who live in states where it's actually technically legal. So that's fun. And that's right now. Where do we go from here in the next few months, the next few years? Well, anywhere. Because the right is not going to be satisfied with this. They still need to keep their base blind with rage. So what will they come for? Well, conveniently, the decision actually implies a few of the next potential areas. Clarence Thomas, for instance, says, in future cases, we should reconsider all of this court's substantive due process precedents, including Griswold, Lawrence, Obergefell as well. Because any substantive due process decision is demonstrably erroneous, we have a duty to correct the error. Well, what does that mean? Well, he's referring to little things, little areas of rights, like your right to contraception, to birth control, to condoms, to IUDs, things like that. Lawrence is the right to sex acts that they don't like. So same-sex sex acts, those sorts of things, those could be outlawed in many states again soon. Also the right to same-sex marriage. Now you'll note that Clarence Thomas chooses not to talk about the potential illegality of interracial marriage there, even though its constitutionality has rested for many decades on the same foundation as the other ones that he listed. But again, all of this is about taking rights away from other people, not yourself. So for now, at least, Anna, our marriages should be legal on into the near future. So that's convenient. But buying condoms might soon get you thrown in jail. If you give a blowjob that they don't like, you might end up in jail. We are entering into wild times in America.
Yeah, I mean, it's also, I mean, they're trolling us. It's a sick joke that they reverse Roe v. Wade one day after striking down a gun regulation in New York that would prevent people from concealed carry in public spaces. So on one hand, they purport to care about human lives. On the other hand, more guns mean more deaths, but hey, they really love their hobby of shooting. So we've got to protect that. No, and everything's on the table. Like, let's not try to hide that or try to sugarcoat it in any way. It's very obvious that these other cases were cited in the reversal of Roe v. Wade to make it clear that these are issues on the table set for reversal. And we'll see if and when it happens. But again, when conservatives tell you who they are, you should believe them because they don't lie. They don't lie about who they are. They tell the truth. The thing that they do lie about is what their intentions are, right? The allegations that they care about human lives. In reality, they don't care about human lives at all. We just experienced a deadly, contagious virus, a terrible pandemic, where they couldn't even be bothered to wear a mask to save lives. How are they going to now turn around and say, oh, I care about life so much. I care about a clump of cells that's not viable outside the womb. I consider that a human life. But when it comes to actual living, breathing human lives, they could not do the bare minimum of putting a piece of fabric or a medical mask over their damn faces. They thought it was too invasive. They thought it was a violation of their personal liberties. Yep. Amazing. No,
like, I mean, there has never been hypocrisy to match the hypocrisy that we have had to experience on a daily basis in America over the past few years. You're 100% right. Asking you to, hey, if you wouldn't mind, would you not give a deadly illness to other people around you? Like a lot of people are dying every day. Could you not do that? No, that's government overreach. How dare you tell me to do this?
I can't breathe. Yeah, BS about how they can't breathe. Meanwhile, how about, I know that a lot of right wingers can't be bothered to learn anything about human anatomy, but how about you read a little bit about what happens to a woman's body throughout a 9-month pregnancy. Why don't you read a little bit about how, especially in a country like the United States, how risky it is to undergo childbirth? How many women die as a result of giving birth in a country, in states, by the way, that, especially when it comes to Black women, don't take their pain seriously, don't take their concerns, medical concerns seriously. We have an insanely high, maternal mortality rate, especially in red states. In red states, but who cares? It's not really about human lives. It's about political power. That's it.
100%. And we wanted to get into some of the class and race distinctions. We talked about them previously many times on the show. That definitely is going to be in effect here. Also, look forward in the near future. There are states that have already outlawed it with no consideration for the health of the mother, that sort of thing. There are conditions where an abortion is literally the only thing to save the life of the mother. That happens quite frequently. Those women will be condemned to death. That is, by the way, that already happens in other countries. We've reported on it. There have been countries where they've experienced that. That's here now. There are women who we could save, and we will not because of this now in multiple states. So, be careful about what state you live in. And unfortunately, there's for a lot of people, you can't just switch states. You can't just move to one of those blue states because it's really expensive and times are really hard.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.